So I was sitting at this thing that I do, and I was talking to this older lady, and she says to me, "You know, straight men just aren't that interesting." And I was the only straight man in the room at the time, so I felt obligated to say, "Sure." Because what else can he say, really? But in my head, I'm thinking, "Hello, my name is Chris Oliver, and I am nothing if not interesting." So I've been Chris Oliver for 2 years and a month and a bit. I'm not sure what day it is, 14th, 15th. And I wanted to make a video kind of talking about what that was like, what what these last couple of years have been like for me, how my understanding has evolved and changed. Um, I don't know how many people have been following what I've been saying the entire 2 years, but those of you who have probably noticed a deliberate shift in language, um, a different packaging for the marketing, if you will, because the ideas and the concepts that I'm trying to convey, not only do they run completely opposite to everything we're told is true our entire lives. It is this reality. It's, it requires a certain level of either faith or, experiences with, I don't want to call it paranormal. I don't like that word, uh, because what is normal? Um, but fringe experiences. We'll go with that. We'll call them fringe experiences. Then everything I have to say is just going to sound like absolute madness, because if you can't even conceive that these things are possible, then you're just going to have to go, no, that's crazy. I'm going to put those ideas way over there and go about my busy day. All of this is real. And, one of the reasons I've been so adamant and so vehement and so loud is, it's this knowledge, it pertains to you. Your problems in this reality, like my problems in this reality, are for the most part manufactured. They are generated and given to us. Uh, the way the agents, them, the way they propagate their ideas with repetition, the way they reinforce each other's views, and the ways they fight with each other, it's, you step back far enough from the big picture and you look at things that are happening on a global scale where you have that illusion of competition, and then you look again at your own personal life and you see those same illusions of competition. And I've always known since I was a small child that what we're looking for are fractal truths. The truths, the patterns, the things that fit on many levels, those are the real truths that we are looking for. And when I was shown the, the true nature of this reality, those truths fit my personal life, all these little events, um, with friends and family, uh, why so many people are so quick to anger, they just trigger on the smallest little things, why there's this incessant blaming. I mean, it's it's original sin enacted in everyday life. It's the idea that you are horrible by your sheer existence, that you are a flawed thing, which is just not true. You're probably pretty all right. I don't know you. Decide that for yourself. Are you pretty all right? I bet you are. I bet you are. This is a giant piece of wax that's sitting on the ground for no real reason. This is another piece of wax that's sitting on the ground for no real reason. Now, these pieces of wax represent, no, they're just pieces of wax. Um, what else? Watching TV is, well, I haven't watched TV since about the year 2000, but watching shows, I do watch shows, of course, shows and movies. Um, Sometimes it's hard for me to just enjoy a good story because all I see are truths. I see, all the truths in this reality are revealed in its fiction. And, they don't call it the True Man Show for nothing. I rewatched the True Man Show recently, so it's pretty fresh in my mind. Where you have a man born into a false reality, surrounded by friends and family who are all pretending and are all in, a giant conspiracy to keep him blind to the true nature of his reality. Just like, oh, it all sounds so familiar. And that interview with Christoph at the end on the 22nd floor of the moon. Truman lives in a giant dome. They show you the dome at the end of the movie. They show you one of the stars being just a light falling from the sky at the beginning of the movie. They didn't call it the True Man Show for nothing. But yeah, after I started talking about this stuff online, and then I went and had my homeless prophet phase, which, it's just what you do, really. You see the true nature of a reality, you go live on the streets and talk about it. It seemed like the natural progression. And that was great. I picked the right town. I definitely picked the right town in good old Denton, Texas. And I picked the right town partially because it was familiar. I'd lived there a decade ago, so I kind of remembered where things were, what the streets were, and where stuff is and what was going on. It certainly changed, but that's neither here nor there. Urban sprawl, what can you do? But I love talking to the kids. The kids were awesome. The kids were so fucking smart. I loved talking to the kids. They were clever. They and they knew their music, which also blew me away. Just the sheer amount of knowledge that, the growing up with the internet when you're just young and you have that, sponge brain where everything just sticks in. You could see it. You could see it in that generation. And I loved hanging out with them. I loved talking to them. I loved doing open mics. I just loved getting up there and saying everything is wrong. And living on the streets, I very much subscribe to a philosophy of keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. I was definitely, some of them in my life doing the same old shit. I mean, that's kind of the weird thing is they adapt, but they don't change. And like one of the people that I met when I was living on the streets was this kind of hippie looking dude. We're gonna call him Sunshine because I think that would annoy him. we're gonna pretend his name is Sunshine, and he was the only person who knew where I was sleeping, which was a mistake. But he needed a place to sleep, and I had a place for him to sleep. It was where I was sleeping. But one evening he burst into my room just drunk as a skunk screaming my name, which woke me up and naturally scared the hell out of me. And, I calmed down and I went back to sleep and he laid down and snored to high heaven. He was such a liability. Yeah, but then he wouldn't shut up about it. It was like every few days he'd be like, "Oh man, that time you were so scared." And it's that sort of thing that they really latch onto, and it's just like, if roles were reversed there, I would have been embarrassed as hell. I would have been like, "Dude, I'm so sorry I woke you up. I'm so sorry I startled you. I was drunk out of my mind," which I don't get drunk out of my mind. Like, I haven't done that in a good long while. Well, occasionally, about once every 3 or 4 months or so, tie a few on. But yeah, it's just the little things like that when I saw when I what was going on, like how friends would just latch onto those stupid little things and just constantly go back to them and go back. Oh, dude, remember that one time? Like, dude, shut up, get over it. It's not interesting, and I've heard this story before. Um, so they adapt, but they don't change. And really, the most screaming example of that, if what you see online isn't enough, was my mother. The woman they told me was my mother, the person who was supposed to love me no matter what. Uh, I started talking about these things, and she decided that the best course of action would to be turn my oldest friend against me and then disown me when I asked if there was anyone else I should expect such things from. Disown me in a real, like, how dare you ask me that? I'm dead to you. So, they don't they don't change. It's that constant, you are terrible. How dare you do that? You are horrible. I am dead to you. I'm like, oh, wow, cheap funeral. Email. And if you're wondering how I replied to that email from my mother saying that she was dead to me and how dare I ask her that, uh, the answer is not at all. No way. Who writes email to dead people? Crazy people. Block, archive, go about my day. Thank you very much. Since I stopped being a homeless prophet, I've been living a quite happy life. It's pretty peaceful here, see? This is next to my house. Fall is coming, and I'm very thankful for that. Because, wow, the heat was annoying this year, and it's just going to get worse. Like, we're in for some really hot summers. And some really mild winters, I think, which is kind of a shame in itself. Um, 2 years of being Chris. 2 years of being Chris. I lost most of my friends. I will say that. Um, due to being horribly depressed and moving across the country a couple of times, years before any of this started, I kind of lost most of my friends anyway, or I should say I'd lost contact with most of my friends. And part of that was just reclusion. And really, to be honest, after my fiance left me, way back in 2012, I'm pretty sure that was 2011, end of 2011, 2012. It honestly felt like there was concerted effort just from everyone I knew to either be shitty or be distant. And that's really what led to the anxiety issues and led to the extreme reclusion. It was just that consistency, and I took it all very personally, and I really should not have, because it was very much personal, but it was very much not about me. And if there's one thing I really, that is one of the big things that I ultimately hope to give to other people who might be staring at this world, living in this reality, who are constantly being bombarded with, how dare you do this, and oh, do you remember that time you did this, or, just the little things. No, it's not you. Know that it's really not you. It really is them. This reality is it's vicious. Um, and I realized last week that I've been using the wrong word. Like in my subreddit, I call it a false reality. Um, some of my comments lately, I've been referring to it quite often as a fractured reality. But I think the simplest, most adapted, or most bestest word is inverted. This is an inverted reality. Uh, Everything about it is it's inside out. You know, the truth is in the fiction. What we're told is curved is flat. You know, what we're told is moving is still. Uh, you know, just the layers and layers of lies that are here to make you think that your existence is by chance and happenstance, uh, and the social constructs contained within, they have purpose. And these purposes, they're not on your side. You know, as McKenna said, culture is not your friend. And yeah, being Chris, it's a real quiet, reclusive. I keep to myself a lot because the thoughts in my head, I wouldn't even know where to begin to explain context to most people, so I keep to myself a lot. I talk to my guides. Since my QHHT session, that's an awkward phrase, session, uh, I have been able to feel here. This is the best example. My guides, uh, they are the light. They are fantastic. They are funny. They are friendly. They're very particular about words. They're uh, I, I I get where my particularness about words is really their particularness about words. And when I ask questions with the wrong words, that's what they'll say to me is like, that's the wrong word. Ask that question again. Um, yeah, and then, I mean, and they're incredibly silly and they're incredibly funny, and they've never been human. And sometimes they just have these observations. The other day it was pooping's like an ejaculation for the butt. All right, thanks for that one, guys. Pooping is like an ejaculation for the butt. Well, this video has no real overarching structure to it, and I can't think of a better ending point. So I will say thank you for watching. Um, we love you all. Remember to laugh about it. Be relaxed and groovy. Eat your vegetables. Um, don't worry about what the other kids think. And, you know, stay tuned.